Alright guys, figured I'd show you this sucker. I guess I'll give you this update. And but the tank cradle is pretty much all done. All I have to do is when I pull it off, just weld on the back side of a couple things. So it came out pretty good. Just put some stitches along here, and then got this top stuff welded. This I thought it came out pretty good. I put a little protector here just in case, in case I like get a little sideways and maybe this will touch a rock or something. I mean, I don't know. Look how, I'd have to be pretty far over for it to touch a rock, because you can see there that it's pretty in. Now that you can see the shock is damn near out further than it, but I figured, just in case, I don't know, I drop something next to it, or I don't know, I just figured, if I tilt over or something and it touches something, at least it'll keep it from like ripping the cap off. Yeah, so I got that all welded up around there, blankety blank, it sits on there. I got the back all welded up. Yeah, so I just wanted to show it to you real quick. But it's Father's Day. My wife let me get out here for a while, but it was about $1.10. So, I'd work for an hour and go in for a little while, and then come out and work for an hour, and really just welding it all. It just takes a while to freaking weld everything, But that's it. So I think it'll work out. It's pretty close over there, but I think it'll be okay. I still haven't messed with those brake lines, so I need to do that. But yeah, there it is. So you think, I don't think it looks too funny. I think it looks okay on this here deal here. All I did, I took a 5/8 hole saw, and so here was my template that I made. So let's use some cardboard. And then all I really did was just for the bend, I cut it out of this piece I have here, but anyways, on the bend I just 5/8 hole saw, and I used my Sawzall, and I cut a couple little slits, and then I just I pretty much took it and bent it over the back of the frame here. This is coming off right here, but I bent it over the back of the frame. The frame's been pretty nice back here. I've been able to kind of use it as a vise. I just clamp things to it when I need to do whatever. Since my vise is broken over there, I need to get a new one. But yeah, so I think it's gonna work out. There's my vent, it'll go down there, and all this stuff is covered. There's not a whole lot of, once this was bolted down, there's really not a whole lot of movement. I mean, there's a little deflection, but I mean, you'd have to, like, I don't know, jump on it or something to, hell, I don't know if you jumped on it, I don't even know if it'd been that much. So I think it's gonna work out. I might have to make some modifications to it, but like with everything, that's what we got to do. So, all right, that is it. All right, guys, got out here today, and well, actually, I got out here last night, and I painted I finished welding the inside stuff of this deal, got it painted up, and then while it was drying, I would come out here and kind of got this cleaned up. I really just kind of went over it with like a wire brush, just like with hand. And then I hit it with some Scotch-Brite, and then I wiped it down with some Acrosol, and then I just unloaded like 3 cans on it, and I think I got kind of everywhere. It looks okay, and up to the back part. But we're going to cut this off, so I'm going to put this on now, and then I'm going to cut this off, and then we'll kind of have a pretty good idea of what she's going to look like. Obviously pre-flatbed, and then I'm going to order some lights tonight to put in my little bumper. So I found some cool little LED, they're like teardrop shaped deals, so they're like vintage car ones, but they're pretty cheap, and they just bolt right in, and they've got a nice little grommet on them. And then I'm gonna order, I think I'm gonna run my license plate in the center, and I'm gonna order one that has like a little backup light attached to it. And then, because obviously my real bright lights that I'm gonna mount on here, I'll have them run to a switch or something. But for now, I just need a backup light just for, for legality purposes. So yeah, anyways, put this sucker on. Hopefully I don't scratch the hell out of this thing. Well, I'll put some tape over the edges of the frame and lift it up on here. Alright, I got the the carrier sitting on the tank here, so I'm gonna get my straps put into place and then hoist it onto the frame. That wasn't too bad to lift that sucker on. This thing's a little bit heavy, but it's not too bad. At least once it sits down, it's like kind of right where it needs to be, So, alrighty. Now that's how I want to take my tank in and out. That was pretty freaking easy comparatively to jacking it and getting it on from underneath and worrying about it falling off of something. It's like completely secured. So one issue that I'm having that I'm going to have to fix is it looks like maybe the tank, the dimensions are a little bit off, because it looks like it's hitting the frame on both sides. Like the frame's just barely touching the tank, which might not be an issue, but if it did happen to like move around a little bit, I don't want to put in a hole in the tank, so I'm just going to bust out the grinder and just frickin' on both sides just a tad bit, and then pop it back in and bolt her down. But yeah, I mean, I got it lined up and just dropped it in, and like blango flango, it was all good. So I think I'll pull it back off, do a little grind, and take me 2 seconds, and then I'll pop it back in. Alright, so that was pretty cool. Pretty easy to lift this sucker up. I just wrapped a chain around here, chain around the other side, and then I just used a side strap just to kind of keep it level. And yeah, it's shit. That was pretty cool. So what I ended up doing here is this tank, you know, obviously all these aftermarket tanks are just a tad bit different, but I don't know if you can see there where that piece of frame goes. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, had to do a little bit of trimming because it was like super close. Actually, it was touching on the one side, and I'm not sure if it was because I didn't have the proper alignment or whatever, but anyways, I pulled it off and ground those down just a little bit. That way there's like, I don't know, like almost a 1/4 inch on each side. So, you know, that way, you know, in case there is any kind of movement or something, I mean, it won't hit the frame. So I don't think there's going to be any movement at all. But yeah, like I said, that was easy. All I did, I had the tank on my wagon over there. I set this on top, and it like fit like a freaking glove. Like at first I thought it wasn't going to go, but I had this foam in here, and then it just kind of popped on. I had the straps already sitting up underneath it, and I tightened them down and got my hoist and pulled it right off and set it right on. So I put a little of this tape here just so I wouldn't scratch it up too bad. So I don't think I did, and so it's kind of good during welding. I tried to, when I was welding it up, when I originally mocked it up, I had put like a little washer on the one side, that way to give it a little bit of space, because I knew once I welded it, it would kind of like, it always seems like everything gets tighter once it's welded up. So I did that, and it's tight, but I mean it slips right on there. So, and then once I hoist it, it pops right off. So that's kind of cool. And then the one thing is that it kind of does a bunch of different things. For one thing, it holds the tank up out of the way, and I like the way it's easy to get it on and off, you know, just for, you know, purposes of if I have to do work on the truck or whatever, it just comes right off pretty easy. 2, it's got my fuel fill on it. 3, my shocks mount to it. And 4, it acts as a cross member for the truck, and cross member / frame stiffener, because I'm going like, you know, I don't know, 30 something inches of the frame. It's getting stiffened by this. So I didn't paint back here. This is my, let's see, where's my cutoff line, if I can still see. My cutoff line's right here, so I'm going to whack this off. I wanted to wait till I had this sitting on here. And really the reason why I brought the tank in before finishing the flatbed is it was like $1.17 today, and my tank was sitting on the side of the house, and so I really don't worry about it because it was kind of shaded most of the day. But they're starting to sell fireworks and stuff now, so you know, these people out here get crazy, and so I didn't want something to land on it and then have a potential, what would you call that, a thermal incident. That would kind of suck. So I figured the safest place is up in the truck. So then, yeah, it's just chilling out, and it's secured, and it ain't going nowhere. And see the clearance there? Yeah, so I can dig it. So yeah, I probably need to, I don't know, paint it a little bit or something. Looking kind of busted. I don't know, maybe I can wash it up and paint it, but I don't know. I don't really care. It holds the frickin' tank. Who cares? And then I'll get to test my cover, but first I got to connect my fuel fill, make sure it fits. Probably, I don't know, it's going to get kind of late, maybe tomorrow night or something I'll come out and do that. But yeah, so that's it. So basically, frame shortening stuff is all done. Fish plates, box plates. See the boxing plate there, see the one here. And cleaned her up, painted her, gotta whack the this off. I'm gonna put my little stubby bumper back on. It's chilling over there. And then I'm gonna mount the lights to it. So that, I think the lights that I got, they're like stud mounted, so they'll mount flush-ish, but you know, they don't like go inside with a grommet, but they mount flush, and they're just like 30 LEDs. But anyways, I'm gonna do, you know, like one here, and then I put my, I don't know, figure out how to put my license plate in the middle somehow. Maybe I'll even mount it on the flatbed or something, I don't know. And then I'll get to see if my cover fits, which I think it will. So yeah, that's it. So that's really all I got to talk about tonight. So I got a couple different little clips that I'm going to put together for you guys tonight. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you rolling with me. If you guys have any thoughts on this sucker, I will show it to you one more time. All welded, all painted. I kind of, you know, had to touch it a bunch so it don't look as good as it did earlier. But yeah, I don't know. The welds will hold. Ain't going nowhere. All right, I'm going to bolt this sucker down and go inside and call it a night.